Hey, Goku, there's cops at the door. They said it's some type of welfare check. Your girlfriend called and said she hasn't seen you in a while. Who the hell is Sarah? Well, I'm not going to tell Chi-Chi because she going to hit me. You know, people shoot the messenger nowadays. Hey, anyway, get the police off my doorstep. Hey guys, welcome back to After Hours. I'm the A-Tail Beast, and today we're going to wrap up 2023. Now, one of the things you have to know is that we just had the everything bubble travel into 2023. We actually avoided the recession that everyone was talking about, but there are some signs inside of the fundamentals of several companies. A lot of people actually missed their earnings and massive layoffs, including the death to the AI trend and various other trends from the previous years. There was also that whole thing with Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies. When people describe Bitcoin to me, it's like a pillar of money that's slowly growing, and you just put your money on top of the pillar, and then it continues to grow. It's a money tree, except it's a pillar. When we look at the statistics for 2023, we see up to 47% of the households now own stocks. Now, when we look at this is a record-breaking number. Not a lot of people would be in the stock market at this time. There was a large wave that came in during the pandemic. Now, during that time, you had a lot of people that were beginners. A lot of these new traders, which I like to call noob traders, they had to get used to the phrase, when in Rome. Now, when in Rome, people have to be professional. When you started trading, you probably had the same structure as everybody. You needed a charting software. You needed a trading platform, probably some type of SEC filing, even something to organize your data. The basic structure is the same for all four of these components, but even this structure can be categorized in two separate categories, paid and free. When we look at the paid services, you pay for someone else's insights and equations and access to their networks and softwares. But on the free option, you can do your own research, and it's more skill-based. And sometimes it even gives you new insights into the material, which also goes into your confidence inside of the material. Now, when we look at the free charting software, we have to understand that it's free. So it's not going to be the best. The best stuff goes to the paid services like the Pro. Now, when we talk about paid, you have to understand you're paying for structure. You're paying for speed and quality. You see that inside of the trading platform. The free stuff is usually delayed. With the charting platforms, you'll see an interface that's minimalist. When you look at the free platforms, it's more of a marketing strategy. New beginners come in and they feel intimidated by having complex platforms. Instead, they took the minimalist approach. It even did zero commissions. When we talk about zero commission brokers, you have to understand that they give you poor execution quality. Now, with this poor execution quality, this scales in a bad way. Let's say we're working with 1,000 shares. Every 1 cent of that 1,000 shares is equivalent to $10. If you get a poor execution, you could be off a few cents. Let's just say 1 cent to make it simple. Every 1 cent that your execution's off, you lose $10. Now, on average, we know that the commission for that one trade will also be $10. Let's say you're trading a penny stock and you got 10,000 shares. That means you lost 1 cent per share. Now, that 1 cent per share on 10,000 shares is $100. That means you just lost $100 for that one trade versus the commission was $10. Now, let's say you're messing with an even cheaper penny stock, like a pink sheet or an OTC, and you got 100,000 shares. Now, with that 100,000 shares, you have to understand that 1 cent per share is equivalent to $1,000. That means if you have a poor execution quality, every 1 cent that you're off, you just lost $1,000. At the end of the day, it's probably better to pay that $10 commission. But on the surface, we know that humans follow the easy route. People are like water because they flow to the easy routes. Right now in the stock market, what's popular is biotech. Now, when we look at biotech, we understand that the SEC filing process for biotechs is completely different than the normal process. They have their own thing going on, but we've seen nothing but technology in biotechs for the past year. But it's been especially crazy with the volatility during the winter. And this week, we've seen 4 tickers that were decent setup. So with FWBI, this went from $4 to $14. It all went back down to $5. That shows over 70% worth of gaining potential. You had a similar setup on CING, and that must have been the theme this week because we saw that happen 3 times, where there was a classic short on the first day, and it ended up being a short squeeze in the after hours, and people played off the continuation into the second day and even the third day. It was bound to create a topping pattern and continue that downtrend, and that's what it did. The first day, it squeezed from 3 up to 22. And then it opened and stuffed around the $13 area. At that point, it created a topping pattern. and continued its downtrend. So this week we also had ARBB and SNTG. You're at ARBB. With that extension, you saw there was a squeeze around the $2 area because people thought that maybe this is overextended. Well, in reality, it didn't have a topping pattern yet. This went from 1 and topped around 4 with the classic topping pattern of a double top. After that double top hit, it went right back down to 250. Now this is a classic gap up short on ARBB. You had another setup on SNTG. Now this one was a resistance play. Now we love our resistance plays, especially bounce shorts. Now these bounce shorts are getting crazy. If you go back in May, you'll see there is a 50 million resistance and a 20 million resistance. Now with this, there are 2 layers of resistance all the way up to $6. Now this starts at $4. So a lot of people, on the first day when this gapped up, they piled in at $4 and they ended up getting squeezed around the $4 area all the way up to $8. I was one of those people and I lost 20% on the way up trying to short it as a bounce short, but it was actually a gap through resistance. The resistance that started at 4 and went up to 9, it was actually partially canceled all the way up to 650. And because of that, it didn't even activate until 8. Now the potential downside for this actually continues over the next few days, but already on that first day, it already went back to 3, which means it had a 65% gaining potential. I got 30% of that on the way down, but that's not that special because I lost 20% on the way up. So I pretty much broke even after you calculate the fees. So when you work with free materials, pretty much that's just to learn the basics. That's the basic directions, the Greeks, what's a level 2, where's the news, what's a seg file. Once you get the basics down, then it's better for you to switch over to professional. Now you don't have to, but you will probably work a lot harder. All right guys, that's all I got for you today. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.